Welcome to Murphy and Friends. I'm your host, Damani Murphy Higgs. Today we have a very special episode for you. We are featuring Ralph William Boone, and he's going to sing a couple of selections with us, as well as have a wonderful interview with us today. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Boone.
Thank you, Damani. I'm really glad to be here.
Well, I'd like to start with, you're a singer.
Yes.
And I'd like to start with what everybody would like to know. How did you begin singing? What was your, when did you start singing?
I actually started singing, I guess, really when I was about 8 years old. My mom would send me and my sister off to summer camp. And during the summer camp, there were lots of boys, lots of girls. They would divide the whole camp into two units, like the gold and the red. And it would be a competition for a week, who had the best cheers, who did the best skits, who drew the same things, who could go camping for the longest period of time. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. And so we were poor when I was young, and my mom worked all day as a sales girl at Macy's and then worked all night at Gimbel's to pay for all of this. She never took a vacation. So when me and my sister came home, we would spend the next couple of weeks sort of doing an edited version, creating an edited version of the show. We'd cut up the sheets and we'd do the makeup and the costumes and put the songs together. And then one night when Mom would come in from work, we'd serve a little dinner, and we'd just go through a whole routine for about an hour and a half, just redoing all of the camp chairs. We got a basket, we would have scored, whatever it was. And it was just great fun, and that's when I really first just started singing and discovered I enjoyed it.
Were you, did you perform while you were in high school? Did you perform out? Is that when you started doing musical theater in high school, or did you move forward through college and did you start doing your musical theater?
Musical theater I actually started doing in college. In high school, I went to high school here in the Bronx. I went to Mount St. Michael High School Academy when it was all basically Italian. There were like 5 African-American students in my graduating class. And I was in charge of the folk group. And it's a school of 1,600 kids. And every year for around Easter time, the whole school went on retreat. And it's a big campus with lots of different buildings, and so they needed to have they needed to have a group ready to play in the chapel, a group ready to play in the gym, all at the same time. So somehow that responsibility became mine, and I would find the singers and the guitarists to put together to play at these groups. And that was where I started really singing with folk group. And then we formed a group called the Dew Drop In, D-E-W. And we specialized in singing in all of the hospitals and nursing homes only on holidays. Okay, when people didn't go to visit people, we would go to all of the nursing home, Montefiore nursing home, all of the ones around the Bronx and Westchester to do that. Yeah.
Did you do, because these things are almost legendary now, did you do any sort of dance parties or anything while you were younger? No? No,
never did dance parties. Always did, I was really into the folk music, the folk era, Simon and Garfunkel, even the Weavers, the old stuff. If I Had a Hammer, we just really loved that music, and that's the music that we did at that time. Joni Mitchell, Pete Seeger, just everything, yeah.
So from you said you did performance in college. So what drew you to sort of performance art in college, and how was that experience versus singing in these groups where you'd go to do these performances in nursing homes and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not a typical New Yorker in the sense that I was born here, but I didn't go and see a musical every week because we didn't have the money to do that. So I never really saw a full-fledged production, a musical theater production, until I went away to college. And actually, the first production I saw was a dramatic production. It was called Royal Hunt of the Sun. And as I said, it was a drama, and then in the middle there was this sort of musical scene, and I was absolutely mesmerized. I was enthralled. I didn't know you could do that. And then we had a theater in around, and the next thing they did was The Roar of the Grease Paint, The Smell of the Crowd. And I got a role in that as the Negro, and that was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. Working with musicians and lights, I was like, wow. And the last thing I did in summers, rather than come home, I would work in, they used to have an outdoor summer theater. And I wasn't in the summer theater, but I worked at, they had an outdoor bar and cabaret area, so people would sing between acts, and that's what I did.
during the time, were you also studying music at school, or were these just sort of extracurricular activities outside of your main study?
They were well, I was studying theater. The music I didn't study in school till later. I started with private teachers outside of school rather than in the classroom. But the music theory I studied in school, but the actual vocal production I studied outside of school.
Okay, so why don't you tell us for today, because you are going to do a performance today, why don't you tell us what you're going to perform for us?
Well, in this first section, just do 4 songs. One is called Everything, the other one is called West End Avenue, the third one is Never Will I Marry, and the fourth is Feeling Good, which is the song I told you about from that show that I loved. And I teach here at the college, at Lehman College, and I think those songs sort of encapsulate students starting out in life. I talked to a student the other day. He didn't know what his major was going to be because he wants to do everything, so he couldn't decide on just one thing. And then you get out in the real world and you have a problem, or somebody does something wrong to you or bad to you, or a relationship goes bad, and many people, they run back home. Okay, or if that relationship is bad, what's the next thing you say if somebody screws you up in a relationship the first time? Never will I.
Never again.
Never will I. Never will I get involved ever again. And then you grow up a little bit, you mature a little bit, and you come away with the idea of, okay, feeling good, let's go do this again.
All right, excellent, excellent.